Speaking of Scumbag Sellers of the Week, Ian, we forgot to do this a couple weeks ago when we recorded. We were trying to think about... Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this in the intro, that we have the Best of the CU Podcast Volume 1 up for view. Go watch that. It's fun. It's like 2 hours long, Ian.
That's a long time.
And that's not even some of the heavy hitters. We can do like probably 7 or 8 parts. But the last podcast, we wanted to do the Scumbag Seller of the decade.
Yes.
Decade. And we forgot. So in our mind, we're thinking of what's a few of them. We had the person that was, remember, doing the really bad Snatcher reproduction, awful DVD or CD. And then there was a few others. There was like that one ROM seller that was really bad on eBay, or a website that...
there was the classic. There was also the classic one with the website that was really, really painful looking. They changed the background on it, and also
they responded to it.
And then we were talking about how we could also like get into.
Their Google Drive.
We were trying to chat with
Google
them.
The Google Drive document.
Google
Yes.
Drive.
Oh God, I wish I knew which one that was specifically was now. But
we decided that the Scumbag Seller of the decade, at least the most interesting story, was the Air Raid cart. The
Air Raid counterfeit attempt, because it had all the twists and turns. It had someone literally using pieces that they got from Home Depot and
PVC pipe
and painting. It had really bad and bullshit responses back and forth. Changing stories. I think there was legal sort of threats thrown into people. It really touches on like the 5 points of being a scumbag seller, I think.
We don't remember all the points, but you will as soon as you watch it right now.
This is a throwback right now. We never did this before in the middle of a podcast, but watch it right now. Woo. We haven't done this in a while, have we?
No, we haven't.
Now I'm going to put in the reverb for you guys. The Scumbag Seller of the Week. I said I'll put the reverb in later.
Yeah, well, reverb that reverb. This is a fucking mess of a story.
You can start it then. Okay.
Sorry. So
it's down under.
Someone
Atari
in
games
Australia put an Atari up for sale.
Put an Atari?
Yeah. With 5 games and
a 2600.
Yeah. And one of them was a box complete copy of Air Raid.
Air Raid, if you didn't know,
is probably the rarest known.
It's one of the rarest games. Yeah. You can go into Gamma Attack or Red Crossing, but it's the holy grail of Atari 2600 collecting.
Correct. And it's hard to start the story because it's weird. So basically, someone saw it and did a side door. Someone saw this and did a side door deal, basically. And went over and offered about $500.
We think that's what happened. We're not sure.
We think. Well, a lot of this seems fabricated.
Yeah.
Then another one goes up for sale. Looks a lot like the original, with a sticker slightly moved around.
From the same seller.
Air Raid is very unique in the fact that it comes in a sky blue shell. With a T handle on the top. And the pictures of this one show a T handle on the top. But when you compare it to the original, it's obviously a fabrication. Someone took a blue PVC T-joint and super glued the fucker to the top of the cartridge.
Yeah.
Painted it blue and slapped a label on it. Because... Oh, by the way, this is courtesy of Atari Age. They seem like a good group of people to hang out with. I'd have a beer with them. They pointed out that one of the more hilarious aspects of this cartridge is, if you look, you can actually see the paint flaking off on the bottom of the cartridge.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they get into this whole back and forth, the Atari Age forum, with this lady. Who says that it was her father-in-law's, and she's just trying to sell stuff, and she's not claiming...
It's her deceased father-in-law.
Her deceased father-in-law, right. Deceased father-in-law, so we're going for the sympathy. Like, look, if someone lost a family member, that's sad, but this is classic scammer 101 right here that we are seeing. I don't know what I have. It's from a deceased person's estate. I can't tell if it's real or not, so tell you what, let's meet in the middle somewhere.
So this is what probably happened. they run this weird story about like the same events in 2010 where it just happens to be in the picture. It's a rare game that's worth a lot of money. And then they close the auction to gain credibility that, hey, I sold this to someone cheap, and I happen to have another one. Not just a game that there's only like 3 in existence that are boxed, but I got 2 of them. So it builds some sort of weird credibility. They sell the second one, and then when people start looking at the picture of the cart and realize, are those glue marks?
Yeah.
Is that 2 different pieces? Because an Air Raid cart is one plastic molded piece.
And there's no overlap. But there's huge overlap. Plus, on the.
As someone pointed out, the box looks like shit. The box looks clearly like a scan of one that already exists, because there's only a few of them that it has the same creases on it.
I think it's the guy who runs Atari Age. So there was a picture of his. There's a picture of his box, and you can see creases in the lower left-hand corner of his box. And not only does the counterfeit box look like shit in terms of DPI, but you can see where they used the picture... the previous picture to make the counterfeit box because there are fake crease marks in the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah, so if you're trying to do a fake Air Raid, it's pretty tough for the boxes because, like I said, there's like 3 boxes. So if you do an Air Raid box fake, there's not much to go off of in terms of faking it. It's not like trying to fake even a Stadium Events box where you can find a lot more pictures. Like I said, there's only about 3 boxes, and it's not like this is a who cares, because a complete in-box Air Raid went for like over $30,000 a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, this game is so incredibly rare that they weren't entirely sure it was called Air Raid until they discovered the box, and that was only like 6 years ago.
Right, because the label doesn't say it on there. So what was even weirder was they actually went back to change the story. Now, of course, they know nothing, right? I mean, they're innocent. They're totally innocent.
I got a dead dad or something.
Well, what we've been told, what we didn't show in the picture, what we didn't notice before, was that it says beta copy on the outside of the box, and it says beta copy on the manual. So what we might have here, the reason why the handle might look weird, is because we have a fucking totally unique thing. You fucking scumfucks. They're not going to put a beta copy of anything in a production box
for a company that they're not even still clear about where the hell this came from, by the way.
But you're not going to print, you're not going to do a full label for a beta, essentially a prototype.
Yeah.
They're not going to do a full label, full packaging. They're not going to put a fucking manual in a beta copy of a game. So that's also horseshit.
So Menavision, which was the people that published this, they think there was some sort of, Atari Age people, correct me in the comments, that I think they thought it was some sort of based out of some subsidiary in California, I believe, but then it came from somewhere else in maybe South America. I think it's a weird story, like that they're not even totally positive. Again,
so like the game was coded somewhere else, and then
they imported it. Again, like, this is a game that loose goes for thousands. And again, they didn't discover the real name with the box. They always thought it could be Air Raid, but they didn't find the box until fairly recently. And I think there's only 1 copy with the manual too. And by the way, this one has a manual. Of course, it's totally different, So the whole thing stinks. Obviously, the whole thing stinks. This person sucks ass. It's funny. It gets better.
I know. I think you're about to say the same thing. It
gets better. Not only is this
slander.
Not only is this pickup only in Australia. So I guess the person went into the Atari Age forums. The person with the alleged Air Raid multiple carts, and
Rosa.
They posted updates on the eBay.
Yeah, I know. They
going after the administrator of the Atari Age forums, saying, just to clear up any discrepancies, the item in question belongs to my late father, capitalized. The advert was written up by my husband, and that's who wrote father-in-law. Then a bunch of other bullshit. Again, belonged to my late father. We're not familiar with this collection and don't know its true value. We put it on eBay, listed it correctly, never mentioned the word authentic, nor are we saying it is. Hands clean. It's fake, but we're not saying it's not fake.
This goes back to the proto. This goes back to the bootleg story I told at Luna. It's just because you didn't say that doesn't mean that it's
you can't.
Yeah.
It's It's your responsibility. We were in the process of talking to cash converters, which I guess is some sort of business down there, and also obtaining an AFA rating through a software house or a comic shop. I guess they get it authenticated. Yeah, because you're going to authenticate an Air Raid down in Australia that easily.
Yeah.
You know. We will also try EB Games. Yeah, that'll work. EB Games. They're going to know about an Air Raid cart. We feel that we've been wrongly accused of scamming or misrepresenting the item. We are open for anyone to come and view the item at any time during the day or early evening.
Once again, classic scammer behavior. When things start to go wrong.
We have also notified eBay that members of the Atari Age forum are trying to shut down our auction. By the way, the grammar is fucking horrific in this, by the way.
They space before punctuation and after punctuation.
Yeah, so there's like 2 spaces before the comma and 1 after. This I could understand and also accept if all the allegations were true. Our advert clearly states its description correctly. This product, as mentioned, was my father's. It's the 4th time they mentioned it.
Yes.
And how it's advertised is correct. It's an Air Raid game. Because we don't know of its origins, it's been advertised as is. So all I ask is people to keep their opinions to themselves. And if you have any questions, please email us. If Atari Age continues with the slander, I will make sure appropriate action will be taken to have it stopped.
And then they said they do.
I feel that I have been attacked and accused in disrespect to my late father, 5th time mentioned. Any further comments should be refrained. Thank you in 1 word. And there's more. There's more.
So much more.
Just a quick note.
Just the Cliff's notes.
All caps.
Yeah.
The boys in the Atari Age forum all say this is fake. Let's go with that, boys, if that makes you happy. Fake, fake, fake. Air Raid, fake, fake, fake. This is the seller.
This is in the eBay listing.
This is in the eBay listing, which I'll link to. It keeps going. Perhaps you can all throw a party now. Yippee yay. And you call me a liar? Oh! Just not sure what I actually lied about. Is there something I missed in my listing? Or perhaps you boys can't read. LOL.
Well, and here's what's humorous. Correct me if I'm wrong, but by admitting it's fake right in the eBay listing, isn't that just completely... destroying the terms of service?
There's more than in big bold capital. Atari Air Raid, old reproduction. Old reproduction. Yeah, I'm sure they glued one together in 1986. There's more. In saying that the above about being an old reproduction, we do not know for sure after receiving. It's fucking batshit crazy.
No, it's insane.
This is absolutely. No. I hope they add us to this auction because this is great.
Add me. Sue me for slander.
And then finally, Albert Yaruso, owner of the Atari Age forums this afternoon, was reported to the Cyber Crimes Unit of the Australian Federal Police.
Quick, Albert, get a tent and head to the woods.
His website, Atari Age, has been slanderous against our family by purporting that we are fraudsters. Despite numerous requests were made for him to cease the thread, but all has failed. We have tried to work with him, but all to no avail. 2 spelled wrong. T-O-O. All emails and website links have been forwarded to the AFP for review against him in defamation and bullying, which is a serious crime and carries a prison sentence if convicted. I'm sure the U.S. would extradite right away to Australia. This is very serious.
You fucking bully trying to keep people from buying fake bullshit. It's just insane. I would like to thank Atari Age for giving us 2 fantastic threads in about 2 months, because they really have. Just the best work reading I've had in a minute.
I want to see us added to this thread.
Yeah.
And there's questions and answers too afterwards. But this is the best. Could be the best scumbag seller ever.
Come at me, Rosa.
I'm just gonna say this: if Rosa's your real name, and if your dead father-in-law had this, it doesn't fucking matter if your dead cat gave you this game. It's your responsibility to know what you are selling when it's a game that goes for tens of thousands of dollars in this condition that you have to do your research for. And then if people say, hey, this is fake, you don't wash your hands of it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you wash your hands in Australia, the water goes the other way around the drain.
Boom. Reoccurring theme in this podcast. You cannot try to pass off something as fake and then be like, and then when someone calls you out afterwards, be like, oh, we didn't know, or oh, all you had to do was ask me, or oh, we weren't claiming it was real.
You can't do that. You cannot claim ignorance. It doesn't work with the police. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in a court of law. And please add us to this eBay listing. It would make my day.
It would. It would be an honor, Rosa.
Yes.
Ooh, and we're back. That was a fun one. That was the Scumbag Seller
of the decade.
Aid.
Scumbag janitor of the decade.
That guy's lucky he's alive in Charlotte. He's lucky he's still alive. I could be in prison right now, Ian. Hey, what happened to Pat? Oh, he's in prison for killing a
He killed
75-year-old
the
janitor.
who made fun of his sneeze.